This video is going to cover adding different drawer brands into Cabinet Parts Pro. This brands is what is going to create the location of the front hole and the back location hole, and also select what length slide is best used for the depth of the cabinet. So on the nesting, we have the distance from the front of this hole and the distance of this back of that hole. Those distances and locations are different from brand to brand. So currently there is one brand that we have selected, and we could see that by going to Tools, Settings, then in the Drawer Setup, we have a drop-down box for Bloom. We only have one setting in brand here now. There is another video that specifies the styles, and we have multiple styles that you're able to add and change. You could watch that video, but we're able to have a brand associated to each style. So just to back up to a previous video, you might have and set up one style for a metal style drawer box or a meta box, and you might have a different style for an undermount or side mount. That is one way of using the styles, and within each style you're able to have a different type of drawer guide associated with that. So the first thing that we want to do is add to this list and add another brand to that list. Currently, there is not a built-in function to do that. It is simply by making a copy of a file that is in the settings folders of Cabinet Parts Pro. So we're going to go into the Windows File Explorer, and we're going to dig into the settings file location. So currently it is in Program Data, Cabinet Parts Pro, Cabinet Parts Pro once more, then 1.0.00. Then inside of this folder, we have a drawers folder. If you're looking for this folder, you may have difficulty finding it because the Program Data folder is a hidden folder by default within Windows. So you may need to go to View, then Options. On the View tab, setting the option to show hidden files and folders will then allow you to be able to see the Program Data folder. Once we are here, we're going to take a look into the Drawers folder. Then we have our Brands folder. As we saw, there is only one item in that list. That is because there is only one file here. So we're going to right-click, copy, then right-click and paste. Going to rename that file to Accuride. And now if we go back into Cabinet Parts Pro, Settings, then Drawer Setup, in our list now we have two brands to be able to select from. So currently, both those brands are using identical settings, and we're going to take a look at how to change those settings around. It is an XML file. You could modify and edit this file in any text editor. I am using an editor that is called Notepad++, which is just a upgraded Notepad version that adds some syntax coloring. So I'm going to choose to edit with Notepad++. I have also downloaded and found a file with all the hole locations and different links that Accuride supplies. I've highlighted a few of the items that we're going to add to this list. First, we'll take a look at how this file is organized. We are going to be entering in 4 different lengths, and each length in our XML file is separated and organized. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're not going to have 5, so I'm going to, this last selection, going to delete that. So now we have 4 different drawer lengths that we're going to be modifying, and they correspond to what I have highlighted in the AccuRide document. So the first setting that we're going to change is the actual length of the guide. So even though it is a 12-inch, they call it a 12-inch guide, the actual length is not 12 inches. In this case, it's 11.81 inches. So that is the length setting here that we have for each of the 4 that we've entered in here. So for the length, I'm going to enter in 11.81 inches. And I'm going to modify each one as I go. Your work style may be a little bit different. So for the next one in this list is 15 3/4. Then moving right on down the list is 19.69. And the final length that we're going to be working with is 21.65. And again, that is the actual length of the drawer slide. That is the number that is going to use to determine what length brand to use for the depth cabinet that has been entered in. The next one we're going to look at is going to be the same for all the different lengths, and that is the front hole location. The Bloom was set to be 1.35 inches, and here we have 1.38 inches for the AccuRide. So we're going to change that front hole for each one of these. And now it is placing that rear hole in location. So for the first one, there is not an A, B, or C setting, but it is the 8.822 back from the location of that 138. So it's going to make us do a little bit of math, and adding the 138 to the 8.82, and we're going to put in a value there of 10.2. Moving on down to the next item in the list, and we are looking for the 15 3/4 or the 16 length glide, and that is 12.6, and again that is a distance in the A location, which it is going to make us do math again by adding 1.38 to the value that we have in the A, which is 12.6. And we're going to enter in a value there of 13.98. And just carry on straight down through the list. So the 15, again, is the length of the placement of that hole is 16.38, plus the 1 3/8, we are going to enter in a value of 17.76. And then finally, for our last hole selection, we have options to be able to use the A, B, or C location. We're going to go with the location in the B, the 17.64, plus the 1 3/8, and that is going to give us a value of 21.65. Once those are selected, we could change the brand name here and save this file. With that file saved, when we come in to create the location for our drawer style setup, coming into Tools, Settings, for the drawer setup, for a base style setup, we do not want to use the Bloom. We want to use our newly added AccuRide folder and save that style. We will have to go through and do that for each style if they are different. So the Vanity style is still using Blum. If we wanted to use the AccuRide there as well, we would select AccuRide and then save that to that selected style. So with that changed and set up, we are now going to be using the AccuRide hole location for newly entered cabinets. If you have any questions on that, please shoot me an email. I know it gets a little bit more advanced in some of the settings changes, especially with the drawers. And once you go through it a few times, hopefully it's going to become more clear as you proceed through the drawer setup styles. So anyway, that is it. Have any questions, just send me an email. Thank you.